Who is Pamela Monroe Ellis?
Who is Pamela Monroe Ellis? Or the Auditor General shaping accountability in Jamaica? Who really holds power when it comes to public money in Jamaica? Not politicians, not ministers, but a quiet, methodical figure whose reports can shake entire institutions. Pamela Monroe Ellis, Jamaica's Auditor General. This is a deeper look, not just at who she is, but how she operates, what she's exposed, and why her role matters more than most people realize. The role, Jamaica's financial watchdog. Pamela Monroe Ellis leads the Auditor General's Department, AUGD, a constitutionally protected office responsible for auditing how public funds are used. Her authority comes from one critical fact: she reports directly to Parliament, not the government of the day. Her responsibilities include auditing government spending across ministries and agencies, reviewing procurement and contracts, conducting performance audits, value for money, flagging misuse, waste, and systemic risks. In simple terms, she follows the money and documents what others miss. Her background, a system insider. Unlike politicians or political appointees, Monroe Ellis is a career technocrat. What we know, professionally trained in accounting and auditing. Spent decades inside the Auditor General's Department. Rose through technical ranks, not political connections. This matters. It means she understands how systems are supposed to work, where they usually fail, how to detect manipulation in paperwork and procurement. She represents a class of public officials often overlooked, institutional professionals who hold continuity while governments change. Her leadership era, a shift in auditing style. Since becoming Auditor General, her tenure has shown clear shifts, more performance audits, not just financial checks. Increased focus on procurement systems, greater emphasis on accountability frameworks, more willingness to highlight systemic corruption risks. She moved the role from checking numbers to examining how decisions are made and whether systems can be abused. Her style, quiet but strategic. Pamela Monroe Ellis doesn't operate like a public figure. No press theatrics, no political commentary. Instead, her influence comes from documentation, audit trails, structured findings. She is known for evidence-heavy reporting. Conservative wording like risk of irregularity or lack of controls. Avoiding direct accusations, but here's the reality. Her reports often describe situations that in plain language point to serious governance failures or potential corruption. Why her language matters: she rarely says corruption. Instead, she writes increased risk of corruption, weak internal controls, lack of transparency. Why? Because her role is not to prosecute. Her job is to establish facts that can withstand legal scrutiny. This makes her reports powerful. They are hard to dismiss. The UHWI scandal, her most explosive finding. Her audit of the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, is widely seen as one of the most significant exposures in recent years. Key findings. 51 contracts totaling $521 million lacked proper procurement documentation, missing critical records, tender documents, competing bids, evaluation reports. Translation: there was no verifiable process to ensure fairness. Tax system abuse. The audit also revealed UHWI used its tax-exempt status to import goods on behalf of private entities, resulting in millions in lost government revenue. This goes beyond mismanagement. It points to system exploitation, procurement irregularities, contracts approved after work was already completed, procurement processes created retroactively. These are classic red flags in corruption investigations. Breakdown in governance. UHWI also failed to produce procurement plans, maintain proper financial reporting. This suggests not just errors, but institutional control failure. Real impact, what her reports trigger. Monroe Ellis doesn't arrest or charge anyone, but her reports often lead to Integrity Commission investigations, fraud squad involvement, Public Accounts Committee hearings. She starts the chain reaction. The political dimension, Christopher Tufton. UHWI falls under the Ministry of Health, led by Christopher Tufton. Critics argue the audit reflects failure of ministerial oversight. Government assurances did not align with reality. However, Monroe Ellis does not accuse Tufton personally. She remains focused on systems, not political figures. Why she rarely names individuals. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. She does not conduct criminal investigations, assign legal guilt. Instead, she identifies weak controls, missing documentation, risk exposure. It's up to other agencies to determine who is responsible. Public perception, trusted or controversial. She is widely viewed as credible, independent, professional, praised by civil society groups, accountability advocates, opposition figures, when reports expose failures. Criticism. Some say her reports are used politically. Others say she should go further in naming individuals. But importantly, there is no strong evidence of bias. Her work aligns with international auditing standards. The limits of her power. Despite her influence, there are clear limitations. She cannot enforce penalties. She cannot prosecute corruption. She depends on Integrity Commission, police, Parliament. This creates a gap. Exposure does not always lead to consequences. Why her role is critical right now. In systems where procurement is vulnerable, oversight is inconsistent, political pressure exists, the Auditor General becomes one of the last lines of defense. Monroe Ellis's work highlights where systems break, where money may be at risk, where accountability is missing. Final verdict: Pamela Monroe Ellis is not a politician. She is not an activist. She is something more strategic, a system auditor with the power to expose how government really operates behind the scenes. Her reports, especially the UHWI scandal, have revealed massive procurement breakdowns, serious corruption risks, weak oversight at institutional levels. She may not dominate headlines daily, she may not call names, but make no mistake, her reports move investigations, trigger scrutiny, and shape accountability in Jamaica.